Just, I guess, first of all, just want to send condolences out to Leroy Jordan's family, with the passing over the weekend. And so, I know a huge part of this program and in the past here, and want to send from our coaching staff and our team our condolences. And then just hitting up the injury updates, because I know you guys will ask on those. Jamarian Latham had a lower body injury. We'll see how he progresses. It'll be day-to-day throughout this week. And then Isaiah Horton, really proud of the way he fought through a lower body injury that he had, but just kept fighting through Saturday. Was certainly limited, still feeling that a little bit. But he just continued to compete, and he's someone that it doesn't surprise me that that's what we saw. But we expect him to be full go by the end of the week. We'll build up, as he can tolerate here early on. But Ryan, we'll go through the concussion protocol throughout the week. He'll have a day-to-day situation. Jaden Roberts, I think everyone probably saw last week. He was fully cleared. He's been out there on the practice field for some time now. But just for everyone to feel good and taking full go reps. He traveled. He could have gone in the game if we needed to, but didn't have him play out there. Tim Keenan be week to week, just kind of moving forward, but he'll still be out this week. And then Jam Miller still week to week, coming along real nicely with his progression. So optimistic there here in the short future.
Thanks, Coach. Just start with Chase on the far left.
I know most, if not all, coaching staffs, when they grade individual players, that they track loafs or instances of lack of effort. Did you see much of that when you looked at film on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, there's, we're certainly disappointed in some effort situations that happened. I think they came in different ways, and some of it's just flat out got to pursue, got to get there, and it surprises you sometimes when it happens, especially with certain guys because of the effort that they put in and day out. But and I think there were some other things that come across as hesitancy, as a way I kind of put it. And I think after the game, probably would follow that up and say that there was a couple times where we just got to be quicker to get to a spot and do our job. It might be setting an edge and just, again, hesitant with the communication, kind of confirming, or just, we believe and have that confidence in what we're doing. There really wasn't much. It was really, I think I spoke maybe that there was a couple looks that we hadn't really practiced. Well, I don't really feel like there was really that at all. After watching the film, I thought we did a good job preparing. I thought the guys had a great week. Now you just got to, translate the numbers that you see on the football field that were in different jerseys and believe that scheme, those X's and O's that you saw in your week of preparation is who it is in a Florida State uniform. And, I think you saw it as the second half went along. They started really kind of getting into it, but it was too late. It just put us behind the 8 ball. Now you got to be perfect in everything you do, and put us in a spot where we had to play catch up. And on the road, that's certainly hard to do. And those guys were feeling it. They're with Florida State. There's a chance for them. And again, together as a team, we got to find a way to overcome one side of the ball. When you need that drive for a touchdown, getting it done defensively, when you can get that big stop, getting it taken care of right there. We inched our way back in the game. That's what you got to do when you have a 17-point deficit. Again, we shouldn't get to that spot, but inching our way, something that we did better than I felt in the offseason. We've talked about, the Oklahoma game last year and how you got to try to get 7 points and make it close and put some pressure on them. And we were right there, 24-17. Really, we should have the ball 3rd and 11, on defense with 9 minutes to go. And, just how far we had come in that probably previous 10 to 15 minutes of the game, I'd have felt like, man, this thing's going to happen, and that there's a real belief and confidence that I think was building on the sideline. So you just got to finish. You got to get the stops. It comes back to just that effort, but it has to happen from the very first play.
Go to the far right side of Charlie.
You're kind of sticking with that. When you say you're surprised by some of the lack of effort or intensity from players you're not expecting that from. What do you do to kind of combat that moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they're great kids. They got high character. They believe they want it bad, and so it's just showing them, and a lot of times they already know, and making sure that we continue to be intentional. That's a word that I use a lot, and it's going to be something I use a lot more this week. Again, just be intentional on what we're trying to accomplish with quality reps, and making sure that every rep is done at a high level, from the effort to the execution.
Stay in on the right side and go to Nick.
Yeah, before he got hurt, Ryan Williams working inside more a little bit. How would you assess what he did and where he could continue to improve once he gets back?
Yeah, I think we'll continue to work and figure that out. There's just been so many bright moments with him inside. He never really got going, in the game before getting hurt, and so we'll continue to have to make sure we're moving him around. And last year had a great season, and a good foundation as far as us understanding what he can do on the outside. We really felt like what we had seen, especially in the fall, limited practices in the spring, but in the fall, really liked how he could get matchups in our favor and really pose some problems. You can get him from one side of the field to the other. You can get him deep. You can get him, out in the flat quick. And so there's a lot of different directions he can go. Get the ball even in the run game a little bit. So we'll keep assessing that. As we go through here, and this week will be a little trickier again with him getting limited opportunities, but that's going to allow someone else to step up and us kind of continue to figure out the dynamics of how we feel best with our receiving core and the people that should be out there in those spots.
Let's go to Mike on the back left.
You mentioned the great week before the game. Just how much do you self-scout the preparation before games, and are there times as a coach where maybe you notice during the week that things might not be going the way that you want them to?
You said, what do you mean, great week?
A great week. You said a great week of preparation.
For this week, you're saying, or are you referring to last
going
week?
up to Florida State before that game.
I said that?
You said that, yeah, before.
Oh, just,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I think our guys did. I mean, defensively, I felt like that we were pretty honed in. Gone back and actually looked at the practice film on some of the reps that we took that were pretty much identical to what we saw, and just trying to figure out, why were we one step or what, why was our communication just a little bit slower? So it's just, again, these guys have already shown me yesterday how bad they want it and how they're going to respond. And so, I really feel like the tone in the locker room after the game, at least from my standpoint, and how I can address the team is completely different than it was a year ago. And so, we don't need to speak in those terms, but it feels different. There's more of a, just flat out upset. I can use a lot of different words to explain it, but this, really upset about how it went. These aren't learning moments anymore. This is us and our program. And, again, we understand the situation we've put ourselves in and that we're in. But it is a long season. And, let's take care of business this week. And then that's going to set up the next week. And then we'll worry about that. That's been our philosophy all along, but we really got to live it now.
Go to Colin, front left.
Hey, Kalen, you talked a little bit about Ty's performance post-game, but I'm curious. He said he called every drive after the first one, he said the offense played complacent. And I'm curious to see a guy after his first start make those kind of comments. What does that say about who Ty is and how he kind of runs this offense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't hear those comments. I guess I guess the only thing I can look into is that human nature is that when it goes well on your first drive and you end up in the end zone, that there's something internal, right? It's just human nature. But I also know that we challenged the guys that it was a lot of work to get the ball down the field. It took 9 minutes, and that as great as that was, and man, that's awesome. Like to take that much time off the clock, keep their offense off the football field, that's what you want to do. That you had to put play after play after play. I believe it was 16 of them together. And so I guess to me, we went out there and executed a lot of drives. We just have to do a better job of sustaining it. And if there's a complacency, I guess maybe not taking for granted that, you get down into their territory, that it's automatically going to happen. You got to make it happen. You got to do it, and we got to do it. And so I guess if I'm really reading into what he's saying, it's that you got to finish. You got to do it. No one else is going to go out there and magically put it in the end zone for you.
Go to front right, Kennington.
Eight penalties on Saturday. That was something that also hurt the team a year ago. What has been the strategy to eliminate those penalties? And now that you're into the season, what's the thought process of how to correct that trend?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of consequences that go along, especially the foolish penalties. The ones that happened after the whistle and things like that. So that will continue to be the case. There's just got to be better judgment when we get in those spots. And that the quarterback's going to be protected, and you can't live in the gray area. And all offseason, that was a point of emphasis. We can't afford to have every guy have his one-off time to where it's like, okay, that was his mistake. Next game it's a different guy. We got to learn and understand. We talk about everything from what we see in other games that happened around college football, the NFL, whether it was out of season and even here after the week 0 games. And so it's certainly addressed, and now the guys just got to do it. And when they don't do it and make those mistakes, then there's consequences that we've had and we've already dealt with here, going into this week.
Emily Graves, front left.
Coach, you mentioned that response that you want the players to have and the response they want to have. How do you and your staff maximize that into translating it to on-field results come Saturday?
Yeah, what the guys need to do is cut it loose. They just need to go play. They need to block out outside noise, whatever that is, enjoy and love the game and play it the way it's meant to be played. And that was my message yesterday, is don't overthink this. Just go out there and ball out. And they know what they're doing. They need a trust and belief in the training. They need trust and belief in the reps and all the banked walkthroughs, all those, all that they've done, all the work they've put in, and go out and reap the rewards from it and go have fun doing it. And so, don't overthink this. Just go out and play and do what you love to do. And don't listen to this person that's in your ear and telling you this and that. Like, go out and just do you. And that's what these guys got to do, and enjoy it, and play with an edge too, right? Because we got something to prove, because there's obviously a piece where this weekend we fell short of what we feel like we're capable of doing, what our potential is. So go out there and prove it too, but don't put added pressure on yourself. Have fun, get it done.
Go back right, Jamie.
Hey, Coach, do you believe that you play like you practice? And if you do, is there anything you would change in practice day to day to make sure your team puts out the toughest product they can on Saturdays?
Yeah, I completely believe that you play how you practice. And that's what probably surprises you even more, is like when your assignment's sound and you have great communication. We talk about confident team is one that communicates well. You're confirming what you do to the guy behind you, in front of you, next to you. You're alerting if you're on defense what the motion is. When you see some guy tipping off that he's going to go across the formation, you're one step ahead on what that coverage structure might roll to. Communication, and then obviously the effort. And so even just urgency from and transitions from drill to drill. It's not going to be stressed. I can't even say it can be stressed anymore, because we stress it every single day in every moment of practice. And so it's just got to translate to game days. And, again, a lot of it is just, like, just go out there and enjoy it and have fun. You know, you put the work in, and these guys are doing it. I always compare the off-season training in the weight room. You know, that we're not building to be a track team and then just take our running to more running. We're taking our skill sets, our body, and how we're developing, and then also the urgency in this transitions from one station to another. We got to translate that to football. You know, how you run on the field, how you run off the field, you know, how you start, how you finish, the mindset that goes into all that. And so, you know, I really believe, like, our guys do that at a high level. And so, you know, we gotta make sure we keep stressing those things that we've stressed, and, you know, make the corrections here going on into this week.
All right, let's finish up with Alex here.
How do you think Ty did in terms of decision-making, not just where he went with the football, but feeling pressure, knowing when to get out of the pocket and move?
I think there was a couple times where he probably could have avoided having to get to that point by just ripping it, you know, just trusting himself. The guys were where they needed to be. The reads happened. Just, you know, that comes along with, right, getting into the flow and just, you know, I know they want verification on that. Okay, this is what we practice, you know, and it's the first game of the year. Like, but he you know, just cut it loose. Just like when you see the read, it isn't like they're putting 12 guys on the field. Okay, there's only 11 out there, and when this structure goes a certain way and it is what you practiced, you know, trust and believe it. So then what that does is it forces him into, you know, that progression or that read, you know, being missed, and now, you know, the next step, which I think you're referring to, and that's taking off and scrambling. And you know, there's a time or two where he could have, you know, made decisions that were better, but he also kept some drives alive, especially the first one. I thought he did a nice job and came up short there right at the end of the game. That's a tough one, you know, where he came up a few inches short. But the effort was there. You could see that, trying to fight for every inch he could to keep that drive alive. So he's going to learn from it. Ty wants it. There's no doubt. I mean, he's a guy that takes ownership himself. And again, that's what we do from the coaching staff on down to our players, you know, going into this week is just always reassessing, win or loss, like what we need to get better at, what our strengths are, and then how we got to progress and what the plan should be moving forward.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.